Hey everyone, Natalie Antonov here with Gable Music Ventures for another interview with the experts. We want to bring you real life tips from real life people in all sorts of industries that might be able to make musicians like you get to your goals just a little bit faster. Today we have Vince Cirino. He is a multi-instrumentalist, a producer, and a YouTuber, among all sorts of things. Hi Vince, how are you doing?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. Just enjoying this interview with the expert stuff here. What's up with you?
I love what you guys are doing here. I
Thank
think it's
you,
very informative. And I love M and I love Angela Chic, also an Angelonian.
Angela. I love it.
Yeah, Angelonian. I can see how that's funny. Um, Even though I'm not in LA anymore, but still.
Well, let's get into that. Actually, can you give everybody a little bit background on your history and how you've gotten to where you are now with respect to YouTube?
Yeah. Started out as a musician here in Wilmington, Delaware. Your audience would probably know me best as the bass player for Fat Daddy Has Been. Solo was the first band, and then Fat Daddy Has Been, and then RKVC is probably what most people would know me from. From there, moved to LA and started to pursue both the band as a front and then behind the scenes doing songwriting and production for other YouTubers, musicians, artists, anyone who needed music or had music needs. And during that process, and previously, I had been producing music myself, writing music myself, and really finding my niche for what genres are my wheelhouse. Really, as a multi instrumentalist, I made it a purpose. I made it a job that I wanted to overcome to figure out how to play in all genres. And as a producer, that was really important to me because I wanted to be able to help anyone in any genre with their music needs. So, like I said, it was like a mission for me to get to a point of where I could do that for other people. And being in LA and being in that type of atmosphere where you're kind of inundated and submerged in all these like-minded people, it was really easy to find those types of challenges, whether it was hip hop, R&B, bluegrass, folk, rock, metal, even, uh, and then obviously your occasional electronic pop. And then from there, really, the YouTube career started. We got real serious with RKVC. We had started the YouTube channel here in Delaware and had been doing it for a few years. But it wasn't until we got into LA and we started seeing real YouTubers where they dedicate their entire lives to that channel and to what their craft is. That's when we started taking it seriously. And then honestly, that story kind of never ends. Even though that now the only place I live with YouTube is more on the consulting side, which, yeah, I guess to end that story, I left LA this this July and started my own multimedia company called Chenzo Music LLC. And now with this multimedia company, I'm able to do the audio, the video, both pre and post production. I could do voiceover work that I had been doing previously and now continue to do. I can do the photography, the video editing, the kind of brand management. We can get more into that, as well as the social media consulting, which I had just mentioned. So now that I'm back on the East Coast, I can help all people here as well as continue to help people on the West Coast. with all of these different needs. And it's been rewarding because now I'm able to spread my wings even further and exceed my expectations of where I was a couple years ago.
Well, it sounds like you've really rounded yourself out with everything. That's quite a rap sheet. Let's kind of start off with the way that you think YouTube will help a band or musician who's looking to either start one or to amp it up. Why is it important for them to do stuff on YouTube?
Number one, for a band to have a YouTube channel, essentially giving your audience more content is the perfect thing. You have an album out, or let's just say you have an album out. These days, you don't have a physical album anymore. It's all Spotify or Pandora or Apple Music, right? So if that's all you have, you need to give your audience something else, because nowadays just having the music isn't enough. Secondly, having an extra source of traffic is a huge thing. What I mean by traffic is you already have people coming to your Spotify, your Pandora, your Apple Music. Why don't add more ways for people to find you and more ways for them to continue to search for your stuff, whether it's Google, YouTube, Twitter. I honestly think you should have all the social medias, even TikTok. Another really good one is really having a closer connection with your fans. When you have a YouTube channel, your purpose is to connect with your fans, with your audience. It's also a way for you to figure out who your audience is. And that's a big thing too. And that won't come right away. That'll take time for you to figure out what your audience likes and who your audience is. And during that process, you'll even gain super fans. And that's really fun. Having super fans is always great. Really, the next big bullet point would be gaining an extra revenue stream. And when I say that, that's a very loaded thing. Once you get to a certain subscribership, you can open up your channel to monetization. And long story short, brands and companies buy ads on your videos, and you make a small fraction of that money. And that's all the way you make money from YouTube. Now, there's all these external sources that you can make money from using your YouTube, like having a Patreon. If you don't know what Patreon is, look it up. Patreon.com. Jack Conti from Pomplamoose created Patreon for us. Another thing with YouTube is to kind of like open up the conversation with brands and with other businesses to where you could get sponsored or you can get endorsed. And yes, these are like two different things. I don't know if you guys are used to hearing these words, but that is a huge, huge thing about YouTube. Once you find yourself in a position where you have an audience and your numbers are climbing, you can start getting sponsorships where people, essentially businesses, are giving you product or endorsed you. So now you're actually making money from them and you rock their stuff, you know, and then you even do short commercials, things of that nature. These are all things, Patreon, everything, that really help a band with having a YouTube channel. The last thing I wanted to talk about is really, it's a creative outlet regardless of what you put up there. So for bands, it's going to give you a chance to come out of your shell. Because I don't know if you're familiar, but I know a lot of bands and a lot of them are introverts. And it's really hard for one to get on stage and sing songs to you. So getting in front of a camera can be the weirdest experience. One thing that I would, you know, as advice, I know you didn't ask, but I'm gonna give it to you anyway. think of the camera as your fans. Think of the camera as the people that you want to reach. Instead of it being this thing that you're staring at and you're like, I can't connect with, I'm looking at a lens. How am I supposed to connect? Think of it as you talking to the people that you want to reach. Or if that doesn't work, think of it as like your girlfriend or your boyfriend or someone that you love, or think about someone that you're comfortable with. And maybe that will help you get outside of that comfort zone. Because, I mean, YouTube is exactly that, getting outside of your comfort zone and doing things that you wouldn't necessarily do. And have fun, obviously.
Yeah, you're hitting every single point I think that you could possibly hit with that last one. I mean, I speak for, I know for myself, but also probably for most of the people who are starting to really amp up their YouTube channels now that we are stuck at home and quarantine and in the music industry, not allowed to do live events and things. So, at least in our experience, it is weird. It is weird to go put yourself on camera for who, for what, and there's a lens, and what is it? So that, I love that last tip. That's really, really important. And I think that you're right. A lot of bands are introverts, and that it's hard for them to connect without being in person. And it's extremely important to know how to do that now on camera.
That's a must-have as a band.
I want to kind of zone in on the types of content that a band could put out there in specific, other than, okay, let's produce a music video, which, albeit is cool to have music videos. And maybe people have already thought of, they had live shows they recorded, so now they, mix them together, produce them, put them on there, kind of thing. So aside from the kind of two obvious things, what other types of content do you think that musicians could throw out there that might be of interest to their fans and growing their base?
So you hit on a good point. Making videos for your songs, I think, is essential. And kind of the way things are working right now, you put out a song and you should have a video that goes with it. So as you drop the song, you drop the video. And now, say you have 12 tracks on your album. Instead of just dropping all 12 tracks at once and getting one collective number, drop them as singles, and then you get collective numbers on each and every track. So, for rough numbers, if you get 1 million spins or 1 million listens on Spotify, and then you get 1 million views on the one video you did for the single off of that album, say, and that's it. That's all the views you'll get. But now if you're dropping a single and a music video, then you're going to accumulate those views, and then you put out the next single and the accompanying video, and now you're getting those views. Potential becomes exponential, and you get to a point where that 1 million views that you would have had previously dropping all of the music at once, now it could be like 12 million. So just like something you said about music videos and being like, one of the single things that bands do on their YouTube channel, that's food for thought. Expand more on types of videos. Honestly, as a band, the whole point is to get out of your comfort zone. The whole point is to connect with your audience, right? So do that. And how do you do that? What types of videos can you do that with? And first thing that comes to mind is vlogs. And, you guys that are my age, you guys remember blogs, which is literally just like a spew of verbal cow manure on a page, that you just read and read and read. Well, now you can do it on video. It's great. And it really gives your audience a chance to know you and to understand your personality and your quirks and your idiosyncrasies and things that they may actually fall in love with and become more supportive. If you're going to do a vlog, you could also do a day in the life, whether it's your life or if it's your band's life. or if it's maybe you're going to the studio, if it's specific things, say you're going to track that day, or even if you have a home studio like here, this is my home studio, you know, do a vlog style of you guys doing your thing, you know? And it's okay to be goofy and funny and kind of vulnerable, because that's what you want your audience to see. And that's how you connect genuinely. And that's a huge word in YouTube. People don't like fake stuff, you know? You got to be authentic and you have to be genuine. If YouTube had tattoos on it, those would be the two tattoos: authentic, genuine.
Love it.
Another,
Absolutely.
another great video idea for bands to do literally is your gear or your equipment, or even product reviews. So to expand a little bit more, if you have a favorite guitar that you always use, if you have a favorite microphone that you think your audience would dig, you know, if it's a specific company, that, and then later on, once you have really like got a roll going and you got subscribers coming in and you got brands that are you're partnering with and you have good relationships with these people, then you got product reviews, you know, like you'll see it on YouTube. They send people iPhones, they send people guitars, they send people all kinds of stuff. And a lot of the time they don't even pay for that stuff. As you go on and you start to gain a rapport with your audience, you'll know what they like and what they don't like, because you'll see the views. Like if people are actually watching versus you got like 3 or 4 views on a video, you're going to know, okay, maybe that topic or maybe that type of video didn't work. Let's try something different. Speaking of something different, even like comedy sketches. I know that's a little out there, but I know a lot of goofy bands, you know, a lot of real big characters, and I'm sure even just them talking would be funny and could be like considered a comedy video. And I'm not talking like specifically skits and stuff like that, which is actually like another type of video if you want to do like a comedy skit with your band, or even in the same vein would be like a prank video with your band, you know, prank one of your bandmates, or, you know, do the whole like, what was it? The, you know, shaving cream in the hand and then tickle with the feather. That's super old school. There's lots of new pranks, but stuff that's safe, obviously, don't hurt anybody. But stuff like that, you know, you may find that your audience is really receptive to. And I guess lastly, to kind of go with the whole like gear and product video idea, it would be unboxing. So say you did get CDs, which don't really exist anymore, but you know, you get a box of 10,000 CDs. That's a pretty cool accomplishment to be able to like take it out and you're holding the thing that you made, you know. That's like really important. I'm not sure what the equivalent of that would be today. But you know, for me, that was a big deal to be able to grab the CD, the physical, like tangibly, I can feel it. It's like a thing, you know. That was important for me to share with my audience, and it was important for them too because they wanted it. You know, it's something that they wanted. But pay attention, you know, pay attention to all those things. So yeah, that's you know, a few different type of video ideas. There's a lot more, and honestly, what I'll leave you with lastly for this question is don't use YouTube as just something that you feed. Use it as a utilitarian way too, you know, like really try to learn from other YouTubers, see what they do. And I'm not saying rip what they do or try to copy what they do. Remember, YouTube tattoos, authentic, genuine. So you can use that as a reference, but always be true to yourself and your vision.
Got it. That's awesome. Thank you for all of those tips. Those that covered quite the spectrum of types of videos and content that can be put out there. And I think that it's really important what you said about being authentic and genuine, it's people can pick up on that thing. And I've and to also back to the point where you said that you shouldn't put all of your songs out at once. I did actually. I recall this. This happens a lot. I look an album up, a band up, when we're trying to book them here at Gable Music, and you'll go to their YouTube and they'll have the thumbnail of the album cover and the song, and that's pretty much all the videos they have for the most part. I mean, maybe not all the time, but for the most part. And while that's cool that you can listen to their music on YouTube, it's missing something. It could go a step further, and I love how you're adding into it the possibility of adding a video when you add that song. Don't add them all at the same time, and then build on that. I mean, that right there. That tip is huge. I think that everyone should walk away doing something like that. I'd like to see that more with all the bands that we book here at Gable Music. So I think that's huge. Do you? We've gone over quite a bit of how a band can use their YouTube, what kinds of videos they can use. I want to know kind of in specific, and I want to do this in like quick answer style. What are the top 3 things that you would tell a band to do right now to increase their YouTube following or get started with it quickly? Like just 3 things that a band can do real quick to get their YouTube going. Go.
So I can say them quickly. There is no quick way in YouTube. There is no quick way. Now, first, number 1, collaborate with other channels. Please. If you want to gain your audience fast or you want to gain the correct audience, collaborate with other channels that are like-minded or that do similar things that you do. It doesn't have to be music. It could be tech. It could be cooking. But if you guys have similar goals, and obviously you talk about this, you got to meet these people, right? Once you gain a rapport with those other channels, do collaborations. Honestly, it's okay to even cold call somebody, like, we cold emailed Granny Potty Mouth. You guys all have to look that one up. And at the time, we were a small channel, and she was a very rapidly growing channel. This is a grandma that cusses, so as she cooks, which was hilarious. Things of that nature. She didn't have to say yes, but she saw something in us, and she liked that we just emailed her. We weren't afraid to talk or to try to make that connection. And I think that's what ultimately led her to agree to a collaboration, and then ended up being a beautiful relationship over years of time. We're still friends. It's great. Number 2, this is not fast. Sorry.
Okay. No problem at all. Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Really, it's being proactive with your audience. I can't tell you how important that is. Like, this is not you throw something up and then you walk away. You throw a video up and you watch your numbers. You have to really look at the analytics of what you're doing and try to make those make sense to you and your audience. So proactiveness, like, do everything you possibly can to connect with your fans, your audience. And really, I didn't have a third thing, but let me think. To boost, let's see. Honestly, I would say conferences and events, any type of things where you have a gathering of people, musicians, producers, doesn't matter what it is, go there and meet them. So it kind of fits in with the proactiveness, but this is not proactive as far as with your audience. This is proactive for you and your channel and your business.
And that's networking kind of thing.
Networking is huge. I can't tell you how important networking is. It's really big, like huge. That's my 3 fast tips.
Thank you. Absolutely. All right. So we've talked a lot about YouTube, and you've given us a huge amount of tips on what bands can do. Now let's shift over to your move from the West Coast back to the East Coast. I want to just get an idea of how big of a difference that is to you, how does that affect your business and what you do? You touched on it in your intro a little bit, but just kind of like expand on how that changes things in your career.
So one might think that moving from a huge hub like Los Angeles to now being in Pennsylvania would be a detriment in a sense.
Mhm.
But honestly, being in LA for that many years and being proactive and not being afraid of work and having the dedication and sacrifice and everything that is all wrapped into that, that's where you that's like the meat and potatoes of the plate, for lack of a better analogy. This is where you meet your contacts, sorry. This is where you meet your friends. This is where you meet everything you possibly need to continue business. And that's another thing, you have to think of it as a business. You're not just a band, you're not just a YouTuber. You're a brand. You're a business. And the faster you realize that, the faster you will grow. I guess that goes with the other question with the tips is, think of yourself as not only as just a person or a person, YouTuber. I mean, think of yourself as a business. Think of yourself as a brand. If you guys look up anything RKVC, you will see that the brand management of that whole thing was skyrocket, like astronomical. And that's why now, being in Pennsylvania, I can do things like brand management for other companies. And being that I was a YouTuber for almost a decade, I can do these, social media consulting things where I'm helping other people grow their YouTube channel. And that was actually a heavy thing that we were doing out there in California, was helping other YouTubers like NerdSync. Check out NerdSync. If you guys don't know the Carlin brothers, check out them. I mean, we helped out a few others as well, some smaller YouTubers as well as big YouTubers. Another big YouTuber that we helped a lot was she goes by Swoop, and previously she was Spanky Valentine. Check out Zach James as well. Makes YouTube makes Yo Mama jokes animated on YouTube, and that channel is called Yo Mama. So we've done a lot of music for them. In making all these contacts and all these relationships and figuring out, what works, what doesn't work, and then kind of like trickling into not only the digital realm of things, but also the traditional side of film as well, and commercials, and working with different brands and businesses like power bars and energy drinks and stuff like that. You end up taking all this knowledge. Now coming to PA, I have all these contacts still, and I'm still working with all these people. Not only do I have all the stuff from LA, but now I'm here in PA and I'm also making contacts here. So really moving from a big hub to now like a smaller hub, I guess you could say, didn't affect me as much as one may think. It got a lot more busier because people are home to make videos and people are home to watch videos. I think the only difference is the keeping in communication is more of a responsibility now, because I don't have that quick access like I did before.
Absolutely. And you mentioned in there that yes, while moving back here to the East Coast didn't do a whole lot negatively, you did have to make that first step and go to the West Coast first. Do you think it would have worked if you didn't go?
I think I wouldn't know anything about all of the things that I mentioned. Most of the things that we talked about today was because of that experience in LA. And it doesn't necessarily have to be LA. It could have been any of these other hubs. Atlanta right now is hot. Florida is hot. New York is hot. really, I see Philly as a challenge to me because I'm unfamiliar, and it's been a long time since I've been unfamiliar. So it feels good to be able to really take a bite out of what Philly has to offer for me.
So I'm curious, how has COVID-19 really affected your career? How have you pivoted? How's that been for you?
COVID made things more busy for personal, business, pretty much all aspects of life. And it's really because we're all home together. And uh, in my specific case, I am running my own business and I'm with my family, being that I just moved back from LA. So there's like 11 people in this house right now. I need to have more discipline and really hone in on the responsibility of I own a business, I have a brand, I'm a musician, I have these jobs that I have to continually get done. And besides distraction and everything else, you really have to hold yourself accountable because no one else will. Being that COVID has kind of, put us all inside, it actually made YouTube more of a thing. People are home to record now, and people are home to watch and consume now. So editing stuff like that has become like people need editors. COVID has been an interesting thing for creators, and being able to adapt and pivot is very important for you and business and other businesses. Uh, to become an online entity is very important right now, whether it is YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, other apps to use that would be great for bands specifically, and honestly anyone who is content creating, is Discord. If you guys haven't heard of Discord, it's essentially a place for all of your fans to go where they have really instant connection with you, whether it's video or you just talking in chat. A website, also very important to have. I don't have a website, but I'm working on it. Um, but if I did have one, I would build the tools out on that website to make it easier for people to access the things that I offer, the services. Even if you're a musician, like, have all your social medias, have your Spotify's, have your Pandora, have all that stuff very easy to access on your website. It shouldn't just be like your gig schedule, because obviously not a lot of gigs are happening right now. Also, I just appreciate you guys and Gable for doing this. I think that's wonderful that you guys are trying to put out more informative things. Actually, that's another video y'all could try, is educational videos. So try that. But yeah, no, it's just really cool what you guys are doing. And I really appreciate you reaching out to me and doing this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to echo what you said about the website, that it should not just be a gig schedule. From the booking side, at least, we 100% agree with everything that you're saying. Uh, Make it user friendly, put all your socials on there, make it easy for booking people to find you. It's not something that you think would be that big of a deal, but when you're on the side of someone trying to book, it makes it 10 times easier and 10 times more likely for you to be booked if you have your ducks in a row and presentable and have it easy. So I really appreciate you mentioning that as well. That's you also said something a little bit before that in what you were saying about how you kind of have to become more responsible with your time and hold yourself to the fire when you have your own company, and when you're doing stuff like this, you're a band. You're most of the time you are your own company if you're taking it in that serious level. What kinds of things, do you have anything in particular that you do to keep yourself grounded and motivated and focused, to be able to handle all the distractions?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest the biggest thing really is having a balance of personal versus the business. I don't know. Some people can, they just, their mentality is that it's the same thing. Like as a artist or as a musician, uh, your personal and your business kind of are intertwined. But I'll just tell you, as someone who tried that, it's dangerous. It is toxic because you don't have a balance. You think you maybe you have a balance, and maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe it'll work for some people, but for me specifically, that did not work. I had to specifically have a business and have personal and find a balance within both. And that really worked for me as far as groundedness, how, where spirituality, what role spirituality plays in your life. I'm sure, saying it's easier than it is doing it. But in saying that, like, don't be afraid of the work. And if you're not, like, if you're a lazy person, I can't help you. You can't be, if you want to run a business, or if you want to have a successful anything, you're gonna have to work really really hard at it. And working hard and, like, reaching for things is different. Like, you can work hard without having to, like, push too hard. So, just a small example, if I'm trying to book a gig with Gable Music Ventures, then I'm not going to, like, blow them up with hundreds of emails like, please book me, please book me, please book me. That is an example of reaching. You know what I would do is put myself on their radar. So go play a gig in the vicinity of where they book, or find out where people that they booked previously hang out, what bar, or go see those people at their gigs. And I'm sure you'll find Gable Music Ventures there because they go to a lot of their gigs that they book.
We do try.
Often an opportunity to where you can gain those relationships, and I think that's really important, as far as just making things work for you. Again, back to me specifically, routine is a huge part of getting things done. And mantras, and just having something to believe in that's bigger than yourself. I know it's like a weird thing for some people, but honestly, it's important to believe in something bigger than yourself. You have to see yourself as this, like, tiny thing comparatively. Like, that's a cool thing about living in LA as well, is every morning, specifically getting up, you get your coffee, right? And then you go out and you look at the mountains, and how, the magnitude of these huge mountains makes you feel so little, and you really do feel grounded and grateful for the things that you have, and having a roof over your head, and kind of getting back to that, and then moving forward, because we're so inundated with all of these distractions that we kind of forget who we are. Take it from a person who completely lost themselves and then had to regain their individuality, everything. Like, it's important to find the groundedness, and to stay true to you, but also your vision. And I'm not, when I say your vision, I really mean your vision, not what other people are telling you to do, or what your mom keeps telling you to do, stuff like that. It's like, it doesn't, obviously what your mom is telling you is important, but we'll see that as feedback, not as what you should do, because who you should be listening to is you, and this thing in your chest, and that thing you call a soul. Listen to that, and that's how you make decisions, based off of you, because what other people are telling you, that's their opinion, and quite possibly help, but if it don't feel right, don't do it. And also, get shit done. Like, I can't tell you how many projects I've started that are still not finished. I don't do that anymore. Now I start something and I make sure I get it to a point of where I'm happy. As artists, and Natalie, as well, art is subjective and everyone is going to have their opinion. And as artists, projects are never done. Books are never finished being written, and paintings are never, being finished painted. Just as like songs, you can add as many things into a song as possible. But at some point, you just have to say, "Hey, this is done, and let's get it out into the world." Because, oh man, I just thought about that too. Is another thing too is real fast, and then I'll end this because I don't want to go too long winded. Get stuff done. Get the project out, because you'll always write a better song. That's the thing. Some people, they hold on to their projects and they hold on to the stuff because they're like, man, this is the best material, and I'm gonna wait till it's perfect, and then I'm gonna release it. Don't do that. Don't fill your head with all these ideas of you're gonna wait for the perfect thing, because it's not gonna happen. Just put it out, because you'll always make better stuff. If you really are an artist, if you really are a musician or whatever you do, then you will always create more and better things. So just put it out. Just put it out. You gotta put it out.
I got it. That is awesome. That is great.
Real quick, just be ritualistic. Have your things in the morning, set yourself up. And then if you don't get up in the morning, then do it in the afternoon. You get up, you have your stuff that you do to get yourself situated. And then the persistence, you just gotta work hard. It's getting up and doing stuff every day, and taking a little bit away at a time until you're done, and then do something else and just get stuff done. That's pretty much all of it. 1, 2, 3. I don't know how many of that was.
Yeah, it was quite a few, but everything was very, very intentional, and that is definitely, I think, also one of the most important parts of being focused, at least during COVID, and probably regularly anyway, is just doing everything with intention, not just being out there and floating around there in la la land and just whatever. Just make sure what you're doing is something that you want to be doing and why you want to be doing it. Get that done. So
intention is very huge.
So I usually ask everyone I interview if they could tell me one thing, and I know this is gonna be hard because there's so many things, right? If there's one thing that you would tell your past self to help you get to where you are now faster or more efficiently,
I would say be true to who you are, and don't try to be what other people are telling you to be. 1, and I guess 2 would be, don't be afraid to talk to people, and don't be afraid to work hard. I can't tell you the abundance of gifts and just like joy you will get when you work so hard for something and then you achieve it. It's great.
Well, I think that rounds up all of the real serious questions. I just want to make sure everybody knows where they can find you online. You mentioned you have a little bit of your foot in, YouTube, and then you have Chenzo Music and all that. So round that up for us.
Pretty much all the socials. They will be in the description. They should be. No, just fine. Facebook is where you'll find majority of things that I've done. Hit me up on Instagram. Also, don't be afraid to message me, because I'm super open to communicating and spreading the love, because love is ultimately the best thing. So, don't hesitate. If I don't want to talk to you, I just won't talk to you. But majority of the time, I answer back. So Instagram, hit me up on Instagram. What is it? It's Chenzo Muse, CENZO MUSE.
Thank you so much for being here and taking time out of your busy schedule with everything you do to answer these questions and give some insights to musicians and anyone who's watching, really, as to how to get to their goals a little bit faster, a little bit better. I think you provided us with some super, super golden tips there. I mean, there was a lot of good stuff in there. So really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. And thanks for having me. I always appreciate, spreading the love, like I said. And you guys seem to do that as well, and I really appreciate that as well.
Oh, well, thank you. And thank you to everybody for watching as well. If you like what you saw, give us a thumbs up. Go ahead, smash that bell. Comments below if you have any questions for us, if you have any questions for Vince, if you have any ideas for future videos. We just want to hear all of your thoughts. So go ahead, throw them down there in the comments below, and we will see you next time with more interviews with the experts. And I guess for now, have a very nice rest of your week, day. I don't know. Peace out. Later.
See you later.